Hi folks, welcome to Tom Hanks Week on the Movie Reviewers 100 channel, and the film I'm going to speak about is the 2000 film Castaway. This was directed by Robert Zemeckis, who also did all the Back to the Future films, and of course Forrest Gump, and then later years he was doing like the motion capture films, like A Christmas Carol, and various other stuff. So the basic story of Castaway is Tom Hanks plays a guy called Chuck Noland. He's a FedEx employee and he travels around the world solving their sort of productivity problems. We first see him at the beginning of the film. He's in Russia, where the Russian workers they're loading up vans and everything. They're just sort of taking their time. So Chuck G's them up and shows them, puts a clock up on the wall, and he's got his own sort of timer, and he says your life must revolve around these schedules and stuff. FedEx packages have got to be on time and stuff. Then we cut to Christmas time in America, in his hometown. He's round the Christmas table with his fiance and all his sort of family and stuff, and they're talking about getting married and stuff. So everything's sort of hunky dory in Tom Hanks' life at this point, Chuck's life, and his beeper goes off and he gets another. He's to go to Malaysia to sort out more productivity problems, and then the next time we see him, he's flying back on the giant FedEx plane. Plane hits turbulence and stuff, and then ends up crashing into the water in the middle of nowhere, thousands of miles of course and stuff. Hanks is the only one who survives. He manages to scramble his way to a desert island. He's got there's no the signal, I think it was a locator, I think, that he dropped on the actual dinghy. And then when we first see Hanks, he's your typical city guy, He's a bit overweight, he's rushing about all over the place and stuff, and his life is obsessed by time and stuff. The clock is ticking as stuff. And so the film begins that he's on the desert island, and he's got various things to overcome. He first has to learn to make fire. It takes him ages to learn how to do fire. Eventually he does it, and then the next thing is he has to learn just to fish and stuff. He ends up surviving on coconuts, and then various things happen, like he gets toothache and he's suddenly trying to take one of his teeth out and stuff. Eventually he gets a bit depressed and stuff, and he thinks about taking his own life because he can't see any way, out of the situation and that. And but he overcomes it and stuff, and he learns to fish, and next time you see him, it's at this point, the screen sort of fades away, and then it says 4 years later, and then we see Hanks as a totally slimmed down guy. He's got a beard, he's like fishing in the water and stuff, and he's became Robinson Crusoe. And then like I says, he struggles to get off the island, but then eventually some things happen. He manages to get a bit of some debris and stuff, and he builds a raft, and then he actually gets off the island, and by all odds he gets picked up by a ship, a big sort of a container ship, and he ends up back in his hometown and stuff. And then next time we see him, he's got the big parades and everything, they'll welcome him home and everything. Turns out that everybody thought he was dead, and that they had a funeral and everything, with an empty coffin and stuff. And his past life, was with his fiancée at the time, played by Helen Hunt. That's all in the past now. Turns out that she's married and she's got a kid and everything, and she's sort of moved on with her life, and Hanks has just sort of came back expecting to take off from where he left, and the scenes at the end are pretty emotional and stuff. That's about the basic plot line of the film, and the things to watch out for are, like I say, is at the beginning of the film. The director's commentary, by the way, is absolutely fantastic for this film. I highly recommend you listen to it. Like I say, at the beginning of the film, Hanks it was well known that he was to play the part, he played the film in sequence. Usually when they make a film, they film it in reverse order, but this film they had to do it for his weight. At the beginning he's overweight, and he's this sort of gregarious guy, outgoing. He's like loud, and he's, like I says, he's a slave to the clock, and with his time on the island, he becomes slimmer. Next time you see him, he's slimmed right down and stuff, and he becomes an introvert. You can just see he's thinking behind his eyes and that now. And then it was like totally the polar opposite of his character at the beginning of the film. Another thing to look out for in the film is there's very little music. There's a bit at the beginning, and then when he's on the island, the music is actually the sound of the waves and the wind, and it really does add to the film and stuff. It's really really well done. Then the first time that you sort of hear music is when he's actually getting off the island, and it brings emotional sort of resonance to that scene in particular, and the scenes where he meets Helen Hunt and stuff. So that's my review of the film. Castaway, one of Tom's best. Tom Hanks, in my opinion, is like the Jimmy Stewart of our generation. He's the everyman. We're all rooting for him and stuff, and he's a pretty good actor as well. So that's my review. Thanks for watching. Leave comments and look out for reviews during the week.